Due to some untimely and honestly unwarranted tweets, the contents of my cavity now rely on TCU. This is the Big 12 squad.
You're talking ball with the Big 12 squad. From Oklahoma State to Utah, from Kansas State to BYU, from Houston to Texas Tech, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big 12 weekend. Buckle up. It's the Big 12 squad, and we have a seat for you. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up. You're part of the Big 12 squad.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into the Big 12 squad. Grab your favorite beer or brew and join us for a half hour of debauchery. It's Chris Level of Locked On Texas Tech. JT Wistershell talks all things Utes. Cody Stovall of Locked On Oklahoma State. Nick Maravets doesn't talk much, but when he does, he waxes poetic about Iowa State on Locked On Cyclones. Mountaineer Paul covers West Virginia. Nice win. Kevin Borba of Locked On Buffs and Parker Ainsworth of Locked On Cougs talking Houston. And why not IndyCar Jeff? He's our brand new host of Locked On Bearcats.
Hey.
Joining the Big 12 squad this week. In breaking news over the course of the last 10 days, the University of Texas Christian University has decided to roll out a purple Korean panko corn dog. It looks like the following.
It looks very rolled. I don't know if it's been unrolled. It looks very rolled.
Yeah. They tweeted out that they are going to put the corn dog on the shelves at their home games now. It is one of the grossest things that I've ever witnessed, given a food item at a game. And I tweeted out
fried grimace.
Yeah, guys, that looks like something not even St. Bill Snyder would insert into Portugal. It's the right color. But
great segue, Cody. Drake, tell us what you said you would do.
Right, they fried a grimace extremity. They took his lower half and they put it through the deep fryer. And
I gotta tell you, I think grimaces would be a lot bigger than that corn dog. For the record.
All right, that's the journalist of the group.
Oh God.
So one off. From the official Locked On Big 12 account, I tweeted that if TCU loses to SMU, that I would insert it inside of my rump, sphincter and all. So and it didn't get any likes. It got no attention over the course of the first probably 3 hours, and then Dan Katz, otherwise known as Big Cat of Barstool, picked it up, and since then it has garnered the attraction. So last week I got COVID, and this new strand of COVID attacks your throat. You guys know this? So my throat closes up. I wake up, first time in my life that I've ever had called the EMT and been like, hey, I got to go to the hospital. In San Antonio, they don't take you to the hospital. They make you call an Uber. So I'm in the Uber. I'm leaning forward, drooling all over myself, like, can't go to the hospital. And kid you not, they come back, 690 AM radio. You see this guy on Twitter? He's going to stick a purple corn dog up his butt if TCU loses to SMU. I mean, I am choking to death in the back of a car and on local radio in San Antonio. It has picked up traction. So we have ourselves another St. Bill Snyder situation, but this time it involves a TCU corn dog. And for that, I am in need of a Horned Frogs win. Otherwise, we're going to have a very interesting next few days.
See, I thought you were doing this whole soliloquy to tell us that you couldn't insert it because it was going to mess up your breathing too bad. I thought that's where you were going.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, that
I'm not sure.
One.
The respiratory system. Like, I think we got to go back to science class.
Hey, Jeff, welcome to the squad shows, Jeff.
I feel like somebody's got to do it, but man, Jeff, I'm sorry, you're having to deal with all this.
Well, I was expecting him to say that was actually the embodiment of the new strain of COVID. I thought that's what that picture was.
But also, your body has, I think, 7 sphincters. One of them being in the arse, the other being in the throatular area. So it's not that Cody, I could see the.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Drake. Take that, Parker.
I just don't. I don't think that inserting it, Parker, from the back would have done anything that relates to the throat or the larynx.
Well, that country crock that you have sitting on your table from earlier would probably help in this situation.
That could be used as a possible way to ease the pain of insertion. Yeah. Paul, you are a country crock fan yourself, I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, in West Virginia, it's a staple of the diet for sure. In most every sense, pancakes. I mean, it's good for pancakes. In every sense, yeah, literally. You want instant mashed potatoes, country crock. You want pancakes, country crock. It lasts. It's definitely something that can be used for more than one application.
See, Drake, I thought breathing problems. Paul thought butter it up. thinking two different. We're thinking on two different strains here, fellas.
Paul is really rooting for SMU here. Paul wants the show. Paul wants a show. I don't think that SMU has a chance to win this game. Actually, I do believe that Josh Hoover will throw for 500 yards. What's Chris Level say? Thump. That TCU could thump. Is that the word that
and I said that multiple times, but only a portion of that was heard by the Utah fan base.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have kept up with Chris Level on the Twitter in the last few days, but the Utah fans are not happy.
Yeah. They're the best. Utah fans are the best. Huh, JT?
The internet clipping things out of context? Never. When does that ever happen?
But my man JT has been back, which I appreciated. Yes.
Came to his rescue. Utah fans love JT. I'm not sure if you guys have seen
some. It depends.
So Jeff, Cincinnati has a football team. That was news to me this week when we got the text that Jeff Carr is now the host of Locked On Bearcats. When did you guys get football?
As right around the time that Luke Fickell decided he wanted to become a head coach. That's when things – no, I take it back. We got Pike to Benz, going back to the win over Pittsburgh way back a long time ago.
What about Tony Pike?
How long ago? Yeah, Tony Pike to Armand Benz.
You guys will always be welcome because you have the Kelsey guys. I mean, that holds a lot of weight.
That's what. And look, we might have a first or second round tight end this year, and maybe he'll date Taylor Swift at some point and Joe Royer. So I think that
breaking the
we've got a legacy to uphold here.
That is a good recruiting pitch. If I'm a tight end, there's a fast track to Taylor Swift. If I come to Cincy, sign me up, buddy.
Cody, how are you
closer than most?
Hey, Cody, how are you all going to get players to Oklahoma State after what happened against Oregon a few weeks ago?
We're going to ask the Kelseys for some help. That's how this is going to go.
Cody? This is, and we could have brought this up last week, but I didn't. I was talking with somebody this week, and I feel bad for Mike Gundy because I think at some level but because we're all human beings. The times that I've been around Mike Gundy, or even his press conferences, like he's a nice guy. I don't hate Mike Gundy. He's hard to hate for me. Sorry if you disagree, but I reason with him in that he is the Gary Patterson of Oklahoma State. He built that program into what it is today, and they couldn't give a rat's ass. Like at some point, we're all humans. You feel so disrespected. Do you really want to win? Like, who's left there that he wants to win for, that he wants to coach for? Like, he's just in a bad situation because the administration doesn't like him. The donors are done with it. Like, why would he want to be there? I want him to get fired for his own sake at this point.
He's part of the reason, though, right? He's part of the reason it's gone bad.
Well, I think there's some amongst the Board of Regents style of equation that have always thought that Mike Gundy has said some things and done some things that Oklahoma State doesn't look too kindly upon.
It's still Oklahoma.
But when you continuously are winning, people are going to go overlook some of the things. He has rubbed people wrong of higher positions for quite some time. They just never had any reasoning or leverage to try to do something other than that. Now, I think it's fair that everybody looks at Mike Gundy with some stature because he has that. He's earned that. But, it is a new time in the NIL transfer portal era, and it appears as though Mike Gundy was just a little bit too late. Now we're trying to play catch up, and there's going to be people inside the Board of Regents that view this as a business, and in this business, it's going to be hard for somebody like Mike Gundy to play catch up.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. I do. Again, in the same way that Gary Patterson at the end of his tenure and now friend of the Big 12 squad is a guy that was TCU football. He was TCU football. Mike Gundy is Oklahoma State football. And now everybody's yelling for him to be fired. 5 years ago, it wasn't that case. 5 years ago for Gary Patterson, that wasn't the case. He was still the legend. And then one day you wake up and everyone hates you. Like, wait a second. I'm the guy that won here for 10 straight years.
What's that? Hey, what's that quote? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. That's literally what's happening.
Well, and guys, if you look back over the summer, there was a public outcry from the fan base about the Board of Regents even, talking about the idea of getting rid of Mike Gundy. So there is still that contingent of the fan base. The difference is between now and then is the Oregon game. It's not just a loss. It was a loss that looked like we're an FCS opponent that didn't have a single player that belonged to be on that football field in any capacity. That is something that Mike Gundy has never been known for. Quite the opposite. In 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, even including a couple big-time victories over Georgia, those teams were always outclassed. They were always outmatched, but they schemed their way into victories with lesser players. We didn't have a single offensive lineman over 300 pounds back then, but we schemed our way aggressively into victories. That is where people saw with this Oregon game that maybe Oklahoma State under Mike Gundy doesn't have the ability to scheme their way into victories anymore.
Yeah, let's go into the teams that did get victories this week, which was everyone that played. Thank you, Oklahoma State, for having a bye. Good job, Parker Ainsworth. They got football down there, Willie Fritz. That's coming up next. Cameron Stewart will also join the Big 12 squad. Today's show is brought to you by DoorDash. Last week, who delivered? His name was Baron Morton. Maybe the best quarterback in the Big 12. Some people are saying that he's very good and very underrated. He was the player of the week and the MVP. You can be your own MVP with DoorDash streaks. For Baron Morton, it was pretty much all of the throwing the football. And that performance was not a fluke. Neither is DoorDash. Just like he delivered, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash streaks. You save every Saturday that you order. Stack it all up and save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. That is DoorDash. Be just like Baron Morton and utilize DoorDash. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. It's exactly where I go every single week to say that the Utah Utes are probably going to cover. And guess what they do? They cover, and I win money. And the NFL and college football season are both here, and FanDuel is making sure that you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. If you bet $5 right now and your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however I like to bet, and usually that is parlays or even same-game parlays. I can throw in a couple of touchdown passes from Rocco Becht and the Iowa State money line. Bam. Money in my pocket. So you're ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet at FanDuel today. Houston football.
Hey.
You're good. You did it. You
Look
guys are that was yes. Big 12 Media Days, Willie Fritz was walking around very confused. He was. It was
that
sweet.
Feels like an ageist joke. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, a little like Deion Sanders, no, unseen, unheard. He helicoptered in, took the stage, helicoptered out. Willie Fritz was walking around looking for people to talk to, like the janitors. He was like, "I'm Willie Fritz."
He's just friendly. He's just friendly.
Very friendly. He's a good old ball coach, and Houston dominated, especially defensively, much to the shock of Deion Sanders. He never could have seen that coming.
Yeah,
that's where you can talk. The Houston guy can speak. Yeah.
Parker.
I'm not used to winning football games. This is new to me. I don't know when I'm supposed to talk. No, Utah not even there's funny though, because that no, I will say I think that it validates a lot of things we talked about in the offseason where I was like, hey, this Connor Wigman guy's not so bad, folks. Like, oh yeah, and like,
is that how that went?
He juked a guy out of his shoes on Friday night. Left him in the dust away. I don't think any of us, myself included, saw happening or coming this season. And we also talked this about like Houston's schedule's kind of shaping up in their favor. They're 3-0. The over/under was 5.5. I mean, they're already halfway there. I think that those are all good signs. I'm feeling pretty good about the year. We can't lose the bye week this week, so that's in our favor. And then Oregon State next week, and Oregon State, they don't look so good either.
They could be Pac-12 champions this year, by the way. They could be Pac-12 champions.
And by the way, biggest win of the weekend once again for UH for like the third time already this season, broke Kansas State.
Oh, broke Kansas State. Where is Christian? Did we break him too? Where is that guy?
That's going to be tough sledding for that guy.
A lot of people are saying.
Hey, Borba, you speak up here. Was this all Houston or was this just Colorado?
I think we talked about Houston breaking Kansas State. I think Colorado's in a vulnerable place right now. They got pushed around on everything, right? They got pushed around on the defense line, the offensive line. They don't have a quarterback, and Deion Sanders today decided not to announce one. So we're going into the Wyoming game not knowing again. And then he also said that they're looking for their identity, and he said they may get it this week or they may get it in a couple weeks. So really like finding out who your identity is or what your identity is against BYU, TCU, and Colorado's next 5 games are against teams who are ranked or receiving votes. So I really look forward to them finding their identity in that stretch of games. I don't know if it will go well.
Well, if there was one team that found their identity this week, Mountaineer Paul.
Hey,
give the pulse of the state of West Virginia and go.
Yeah. Rich Rodriguez, man. You want to talk about emotional? He is the pulse of West Virginia. The pulse of West Virginia, Rich Rodriguez. I mean, he really is. Went on McAfee today, had a 45-minute session. That was great to see that. I think we needed this win. It was 18 years of the team that knocked you out of the national championship game and having those bragging rights, and they still have them to a certain extent. You never quite outlive that. But on 9-13, which is poetic, we were able to win that game in overtime fashion. Maybe we found our quarterback along the way in the fourth quarter in overtime. And it was just such an amazing atmosphere. One of the best, probably overall fan experiences I've heard from multiple people ever in the history of the stadium. And a lot of recruits were there. I mean, there was a lot of positive to come out of that. And I think, you're trying to get 81 new players to play. You go on the road to face a really tough Ohio team that stuck with the Buckeyes for 3 quarters last week. And I think we're probably not as bad as we thought we were a week ago. I think at the end of the day, we sacked Holstein 6 times. We're tied for first in the country in sacks. We've got a bunch of pass rushers, and we get the American Defensive Player of the Year this coming week against Kansas, who had 11 sacks last year, 90 quarterback pressures. Oof. So he's a David Bailey-esque add to this pass rush, which I think is going to be a huge down the stretch for us.
Not to be outshone, I know he's chomping at the bit to speak. Hang the banner. National champions in second half against Wyoming. JT Westersel's Utes looked really good for 2 quarters this weekend. People are talking.
Good. At least we are 3-0. That's what I care about. And this team, they had their issues in the first half against Laramie, but I think it's good to hit some adversity. It's before you reach a team like Texas Tech versus I don't feel like Tech, and I've talked to Chris about this, I don't feel like Tech has hit much adversity. And I think that's what's also, they haven't played on the road. Yeah, Texas Tech has. So I think that's something that is concerning for me if I'm going for Texas Tech in this upcoming game. So yes, Utah has some things they need to figure out, but a lot of them I attribute to that game being up in Laramie. Utah shot themselves in the foot. They went on and scored 6 touchdowns in the second half. Wyoming's offense could not do anything against this Utah defense. I can't wait for the game this weekend. The Tech can definitely win it, but I feel like Utah will come out on top.
Why do we just get to throw the word Laramie out there and be like, oh, wow, you did it. Congrats.
It's a tough place to play.
Like it's Fog Allen.
Yeah. Who
there's the Death Valleys, and then there's Laramie.
What about this is,
I know Utah's new to the Big 12, but we call it Laramie because we're close to Wyoming. So there's geography stuff there too. But teams have lost up in Wyoming before. Tech has, honestly, with the way Colorado
teams have lost at UCLA. I mean, teams lose everywhere.
No one loses.
Mostly UCLA.
UCLA.
I'm surprised you just admitted you're in the Big 12. That's a little.
That's good. That's big.
Cody, are you guys going to be in the Big 12 much longer?
Of course.
Have that in there. This time last year, we were on the precipice of Utah, Oklahoma State being the game of the year. They both finished 3-9, so that didn't go quite the way the Big 12 wanted it to.
Top 15 matchup. Last September.
That would be the equivalent of this year, Texas Tech going 3-9 and Utah going 5-7. That would be the exact same thing. It's what we
still on the table. Still on the table.
They haven't played them all.
Did Texas Tech finally beat a real football team, or is there still the question mark that JT Westersill is posing?
Yeah, Oregon State's not very good. The Beavers. Not very good. The only adversity that this football team that I cover around here has faced is it was quite frustrating. 2.5-hour rain delay.
Right?
2 minutes into the game, and the referee walks out, and hey, everybody go away, and we just waited. So, and it was 45-0, and then they scored a couple touchdowns late. So I have no idea what we'll see this weekend. It's fascinating to me. I think it's a great game for the league. I don't know if Texas Tech is good enough. I don't know if Utah is good enough. I don't know. I really don't know what we'll see, but I bet it's a good game, and I bet it's a 1-score game. And the one thing JT left out, his field goal kicker.
I don't want it coming down to Legzilla, the freshman.
Bit of a struggle there in I think at the University of Laramie, I think is what JT called it.
They call it that because Utah's close to Wyoming, Chris.
Good thing College Game Day is there, though, right? Chris excited to see College Game Day at this game, right?
No, I did not. Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, the big noon. Yeah, Game Day's in doing the Miami.
Right. Well, that was a sarcasm, Chris. He was doing a sarcasm.
If Utah had lost twice, Game Day might come. I mean, that's the way that works, right?
If Devin Dampier throws 5 picks, they're
hasn't thrown one yet this season.
DJ Lagway, man. Ooh,
also a sarcasm thing. Cameron Stewart, Baylor looked like ass this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple.
But the
All right.
pants were nice, you know?
Yeah. Coming up, big week in the Big 12. Baylor, Arizona State, Utah, Texas Tech. I think Oklahoma State plays. We'll get into all that and more. This is the Big 12 Squad. Today's show is brought to you by Mazda. I drive a Mazda, and the reason that I do is because it's got this the equivalent of passion and style meeting one another in what has more IIHS top safety pick awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how they craft every model. Feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. Make everyday drives feel like anything but. Like our players. Paul, stop. We sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved with Mazda. Are you whispering into the microphone? Are you just blowing into it?
I was doing this.
What?
I don't know.
Of course, that
because I don't have a brain.
Big win this week, Paul.
Who would after that win, man? Who
Exactly.
would?
Exactly.
Rich Rod.
As I like to say on my show, I did heroin for 13 years.
It's not a joke.
Don't laugh, people.
That's the tagline.
Yeah.
6 years clean in 4 days.
When he says, as I say, congratulations. When he says, as I say on my show, you never really know what's coming next, though.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't Google it, is all I'm saying.
There's a really good moment. I'm sitting with I believe it's Nick Angstad of Locked On Mavs a week ago, and he was like, "Man, that Mountaineer Paul guy is something." Yeah, you need him on an NBA show. I said, just text Zach Blackerby, our boss, and say, "Tell me a fun fact about Mountaineer Paul." So Nick texts Zach. Zach responds within 30 seconds. Dad had 4 fingers. And that was it. Which is true. It's crazy. Paul just every week has one more thing. You're like, you know what? Yeah, Paul, that rocks.
Yeah. Good job, Paul.
Mountaineer Paul merch will be
my dad's birthday was yesterday, as a matter of fact, as well.
There you go.
It would have been 65. Nice. So that was a part of the emotionality award over the weekend. Because obviously the game day would have been huge. Would have been able to take him up there to see that, which I know some people find that a little macabre, but it is a promise that I made to him a long time ago. So it did feel really good for that all to go down like it did. It just did. I'm happy about it.
And then use the word macabre and emotionality in one fell swoop.
Boom.
That's impressive.
I'm going to ruin myself if I keep doing that.
You do have a brain.
Yeah. Well, barely.
This week in the Big 12, Cameron Stewart, we'll go right back to you. Baylor, Arizona State. Sam Leavitt is not the Heisman winner, probably, and maybe Sawyer Robertson isn't either. Both guys have had – Sawyer didn't have a very good week.
He did not. First 2 picks of the season. Dave Aranda basically said he looked like the Sawyer that came in when he first came in 2 years ago. So that wasn't great. But looking at Sam Leavitt, I don't know that he's going to be a Heisman front runner or anything like that, but Baylor might make him look like one this week. That is my deepest fear. We heard Dave Aranda saying he's a good scrambler, this guy. And I'm like, well, there's no evidence that Baylor would struggle against a good scrambler yet this year. So I'm feeling good going into this.
What is wrong with? I mean, because he's calling it. Isn't Aranda calling the
Yes,
defense?
that's probably it.
That's what is wrong. Yes.
Yeah. Good job. That's what I'm starting to wonder at this point. Yeah.
Cam, didn't you say they were going to win the league? Like that was your prediction, like just like a month
ago?
Oh,
I'm still not really backing off of that. He
might be right. He might.
I mean, that SMU win's still pretty dang good.
Still a good win. Mountaineer Paul knows Paul. That's still a pretty good win. Could happen.
I'm not so certain that's not the biggest win that anybody's had in the league.
It is, yeah. A road win against the top 25 team. What I'm confused about is if Dave Aranda
also ball knower.
If Dave Aranda is not a very good head coach figure, but also not a very good defensive coordinator figure, what is he doing in Waco?
I'm not sure he knows. Can we ask him?
He loves to fire people. He really is good at firing.
Parker, you want that one clip to be played, don't you? Where he's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No idea, what the hell I'm doing.
Look, win of the year so far in the conference.
So good.
All I'm saying. Nobody else has that. So
outside of the Baylor Bears, it is a huge week for Utah and Texas Tech. Level, again, can you give context to the lack of context when you said that Texas Tech could thump Utah at 10 a.m. local time?
Yes, I can give context to that because I think right after I said that, I said Texas Tech could go up to Utah and get thumped. Again, that part wasn't clipped because the point is that we just don't know a lot about either team. And I can't sit here and say that you know everything about Utah beating Wyoming or you know anything about Texas Tech beating Oregon State. I mean, these are glorified scrimmages. I do think that Utah has a much better resume than Texas Tech does at this point because 2 of these games have been on the road. So to JT's point, you haven't made a road trip yet. So, but I think Drake, when you and I were talking, I felt like UCLA was going to be the best team that either team had played, and that is clearly not the case.
Yeah,
so they shipped Coach Foster out, and so that was the context. And the early kick time. I think some things were said about the atmosphere at Rice Eccles, which I said I put a B in front of it. And I screwed that up. I corrected it with you, but I screwed that up, and I've heard about that. I've apologized profusely for that, but won't make that mistake again. Yeah, profusely. Kebab or whatever you said a while ago.
You called it Bryce Eccles with a B?
I did. Yeah,
that's how I'm always going to refer to it now. Thank you.
Okay, I wouldn't advise that, Cody.
I appreciate
these random nameless Utah. They'll find you and they'll say things about your family and all that stuff. Anyway, whatever. I've tried to apologize, but I think my point is that there's so much made about this atmosphere, and I think that it probably will be a tough place to play, but so is Ames. So is BYU. So is Baylor and TCU and in Lubbock. I mean, this league, I guess
Houston. Baylor?
Houston's not.
Yep.
Houston's
not.
No.
You left out more
under the standards. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, so I mean, Stillwater is when they're good, it's a very difficult place to play. So this league has got a lot of these, and anyway. So, but I think people were offended by me suggesting those things. So anyway, here we sit.
I think the only way that Waco is a tough place to play is that they don't give you tents. If they don't allow tents on the opposing sideline, that's when things get really nasty. Nick, you're not old enough for this, but Iowa State lost it with, I believe, Brock Purdy and Breece Hall, by the way, are both seniors in this game. Yep. And it was 98 degrees in Waco, 182 on the field. And Baylor would not allow Iowa State to have their tents because it blocked the view of the student section. Matt Campbell throws a fit. Seniors. Iowa State goes 6-6. They were seniors because they were better. They went to the Big 12 title game.
No, you're thinking of 2021.
This is 19.
19 was the 10s.
Yeah, and that's when Baylor, Matt Rule.
Very similar games. That Baylor jumped out to a huge lead in both of them and totally almost blew both of them. So.
But they didn't. I'm surprised. Level, do you mean that? Baylor's a hard place to play?
I have been there twice.
Homecoming in 29. That's homecoming.
19 snap infraction. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that one? So, and maybe it was because of the sound system, because some of these schools do this, but there was lots of complaints because they had the music turned up and they wouldn't turn it down when the quarterback was under center. Tech sideline was complaining about it to the referees, like, I don't know, you need to talk to somebody else about that. But it made it very, very difficult to play. But then you had the snap infraction, and there were some reprimands to Tech folks and all that. But that particular day, I would say I would tip my cap. That was a difficult place to play.
Wow.
But like the last time Tech was in Waco, it lacked juice, and it just wasn't a lot going on there. So
we'll get ready for Rice Eccles.
3-9, Dave Aranda.
Rice Eccles, say it right, Greg.
Breakfast burritos. We're doing
takeover days.
Virgin mimosas. Virgin mimosas at Rice Eccles Stadium. The other matchups this week, Iowa State's on a bye. There's Kansas, West Virginia is going to be. It's a 13.5 point spread, which I think is kind of offensive.
It's insane to me. Yeah, 13.5 is way too much.
That's a lot.
Win yourself some money, FanDuel, baby.
It started at 11, and the money's come in on Kansas still. So they know something I don't know. I think it's.
I'm going to take that right.
I'm not trying to take over, but Kansas obviously coming off a bye. West Virginia coming off an emotional win. I think that's why.
Ooh. Borba, does Colorado just control alt delete this week?
Hopefully. right? I mean, there's a lot going on in Boulder. They need this win. I think a loss to Wyoming would really
help JT.
Yeah, I mean, it would make Laramie look like the best program in the country.
That defense, man, they got some guys.
You know,
oh god,
we don't know who's at quarterback, right? That's a problem. They can't run the ball. They won't run the ball, and they can't stop the run. So good thing there's no teams in the Big 12 who could run the ball, have running quarterbacks, right? So never mind.
Yeah. This has been, it always will be. Big week in Big 12 coming up. If TCU wins, it'd be awesome. If they lose, well, next week's going to be an interesting Big 12 squad, that's for sure.
This You're going to do it live? You're doing it live.
Yeah. Do it here.
I'm in danger.
I don't know if we do it live. I'm going to have to fly to Fort Worth and go to a game to get one. I think from there,
I got connections. We can do.
You're not going to have one ready? Oh, they're going to hate you.
No.
Drake,
you need one like the day after.
You're already in the Metroplex for the weekly Amazon.
You got to
show.
capitalize.
You need to plug that right now, and you're already in DFW. You're not getting out of this. You're not getting out of this.
Who's the AD now? It's not Donati, is it?
Oh, like they don't want the publicity. Whoever it is wants this publicity.
Who's the AD?
I want to say he just came from Army. It's not Donati. He just
Mike
came
Buddy?
from Army. And
It's not Boise State guy. Who's the Boise State guy, Cam?
Mike.
Dickey? Isn't Dickey the AD at Boise?
Oh, it is Dickey. Jeremiah
Dickey.
Yeah. Because he responded to I love 69 on Twitter and said we want the rivalry back with Idaho. It was or something. Yeah, he responded to
Mike Buddy. Mike Buddy is the man you need to reach out to.
I will call Mike and we'll have a hot Korean panko corn dog on hand. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making all of our shows your first listens every single day. It's the Dose Grande Squad.